Metropolis Comics with Simone Bianchi, a comic artist and illustrator who lives and works in Lucca, Italy. He has taught at the International Comic Schools in Florence, Italy, and has created covers for Green Lantern, Batman, and Detective Comics. For the past 12 years, he has worked exclusively for Marvel, and in addition to his art, he created Wolverine's enemy Romulus. He also has an exhibit of his work at Metropolis Comics that is opening on October 5th. Simona, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
I'm here. I'm all here for you.
First, I just started learning Italian in school. What can you tell me that will make it easier to learn?
Bad words, of course. I don't know. Let's see. You know how to count from 1 to 10?
Not really.
That would be the basic thing to learn. And the food. Most important thing you need to know about Italian is the food. Like how to order your food. Pasta, it's easy. It's pasta and pizza. But then steak. You know how to say steak?
No.
Bistecca.
Oh,
See,
nice.
so
I know how to say my name. Mi chiamo Carlo.
You got it. Perfect. Bravo. Very well.
Thanks.
Mi chiamo Simone.
You started publishing comics when you were 15. Did you want to be a comic book artist for as long as you can remember?
I think so. Yes, for only for a very short time. I wanted to be a drummer. I really was in love with playing drums, and I got into that very seriously for about 3 years, from when I was 16 till I was 19, and then I got back into comic books, and I fell in love with comic books again, and since then, yes, that's the only thing that I've been doing for the past, wow, it's a long time, almost 30 years professionally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm old. I feel that makes me feel really old.
Do they have different comic books in Italy, or were the ones from Marvel and DC just translated?
We do have both. Like, we have Marvel and DC, though I have to say Marvel has been having a better coverage through the years, much better coverage than DC. DC have a very chaotic publishing history back in Italy, and it's a shame, but in the past years it's been getting much better. And of course we do have our own comic books and our own comic characters: Dylan Dog, Nathan Never, Tex Wheeler, Diabolic. I mean, a lot of Diabolic in Italian, a lot of characters which have been around for so long and which are just as popular in Italy as American comic characters.
Nice. Your style is so different from what we usually see in comics. Who are your biggest inspirations as a comic book artist?
That's a tough question. I mean, the one guy that dragged me back into comic book was Claudio Castellini, who used to work for both Marvel and DC back in the 90s, and he's been actually my mentor, and so his artwork it's the artwork that really made me feel, hey, I want to do this professionally. But then there are so many huge influence on me. Frank Frazetta, of course, from an illustration point of view. Alex Ross, who I consider the best comic book artist, living comic book artist, one of the best artists ever. And Travis Charest is another guy whose work I always look up closely and study. Sergio Toppi is another Italian artist, and John Buscema, of course, Neil Adams. Too many to name them all. But I mean, and again, these days there are amazing, great artists whose work inspires me, and I can name like Ezad Ribic, Alex Maleev, Olivier Coipel, Eddie Granov. So many good artists working right now at both Marvel and DC Comics.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. How do you find time to teach and create so many covers and other comic art?
To teach?
Yeah.
I quit teaching like I mean, as a matter of fact, when I really start seriously working for DC first and then Marvel, I had to quit teaching, and I'm still missing it because I love teaching, and it's a great way to stay in touch with young people and people who just discover this form of art. But there's no way. I mean, I can barely keep up with my deadlines and keep up with my own work, and I really don't have any time left for teaching anymore, and I feel sorry about that. I would love to eventually, sooner or later, going back to do some teaching, but honest to God, there's no really time left right now for me to do that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's bad.
When you started teaching, did you encourage your students in Italy to create their own work in Italian, or did you tell them to create work in English so the big publishers can discover them more easily?
That's a smart question. No, I have to be honest. When I used to teach, I used to teach them the basic thing about drawing and paintings: perspective, human anatomy, female and male, and how to put the two things together, and storytelling. But you do that, it doesn't matter. If you're really good at doing this, like doing comic books, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're really good, you can find a good job in Europe as much as you can find a good job in the States, really.
Nice. Out of all the comic books you've worked on, do you have a favorite?
Wolverine. Yeah, I'm pretty like 100% sure. Wolverine is just a character that really fits my style, and I always feel like it's coming out of my hand effortlessly. And Batman, of course, is another character I love to draw in paint, and Spider-Man. I mean, all the main characters, they're great to draw in paint because you can give them your own touch. They're so beautiful, their costume and the way they've been looking for so many years, and still there's always a way to do it, to give them a different interpretation, your own interpretation. But there are a lot. I love Inhumans, Fantastic Four, sooner or later Doctor Doom. I love villains. I love drawing and painting villains, all of them. Especially Spider-Man villains.
Oh, well,
yeah.
That's obvious.
Yeah, of course.
How did you get the idea for your Marvel Masterpiece show at Metropolis Comics?
That's another good question. We had the idea together, me and Vincent Zurzolo, who is the owner of the gallery. We briefly met in San Diego Comic Convention, I don't know, like almost 10 years ago. But then we ran into each other again about 1.5 years ago in Dubai. So we were both attending the comic convention in Dubai, and so Vincent came to my table. We started to talk about what I was working on at the moment, and I just got started working on these Marvel Masterpieces paintings. So he was the one who said, hey, we should do an exhibition in New York. I said, let's do it right away. I mean, I was enthusiastic about the chance to do this right away. And so that's how it happened. Like then, of course, back then I only did 1 or 2 paintings. So it took me like 14 months more, and then when everything was finished and done, we planned everything, we shipped everything from Italy, and now we have the exhibition here.
Nice. Thanks for answering my question.
Thank you so much, Cars. Thank you so much, and I love what you're doing. Thank
Thanks.
you. I'm a big fan of your work as well. Okay, thank you.